Hello, my friends. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a nice spring-focused yoga practice for you today. So get into some stretchy, comfy clothes, grab your mat or a towel or whatever space you have to practice some yoga with me today, and let's get to it. So we'll start out today in a standing position. We'll start in Tadasana. So begin today by closing your eyes. So we're gonna jump right into this heart space and this head space to practice some breathing and practice some movement from. Today's theme is really focused around balance, this balance of light and dark as we move from this darker season of winter into the lighter season of summer through this season we call spring. So close your eyes and begin to notice your breath. Begin to think about the idea of spring and rebirth and life, and notice what sort of visuals maybe come up or what sort of thoughts or feelings might come up. We don't need to judge those feelings or thoughts either way, just notice what comes to mind. From there, we're going to inhale, sweeping our hands up above your head, looking up with your nose and your chin, reaching towards the sky with our hands, and then exhale, knees bend, chest comes forward, tummy comes towards our thighs into a forward bend. Take a moment here to feel the blood coming into the top of your head. Feel that difference from standing to inverted. And then on your next inhale, press down through your feet, really feeling that strength and muscle engagement in your legs as from your core you bring yourself back up, hands sweep again up and overhead on that inhale, reaching towards the sky, and then exhale again down into that forward bend. And do this movement, pairing it with your breath. Inhale to come up, exhale to come forward, as slowly as you need to really access each part of your core and your body in the strength of coming up and coming back down. So we're not just throwing ourselves between the two movements. We're really with control each time, finding ourselves in the bottom of the pose and then bringing ourselves back to the top of the pose. Inhale to reach up, reaching towards the sky, grounding down through the feet. Exhale, hands come back down. Now keep this going, remembering your breath. This is a way to jumpstart that connection between movement and breath and really get us breathing and moving. We're finding that balance between up towards the sky and rooting down into the ground. Now, on your next inhale, sweeping your hands up towards the sky, grabbing something up and overhead, maybe a little wish or a star, and bringing your hands back down to your heart, Anjali Mudra. And just take a couple of breaths here, back at heart center. Awesome. Now, join me down on all fours. So we're going to come into our tabletop position. Hands spread really wide, fingertips pressing into the earth, tops of the feet pressing into the earth. We're finding a lift through our upper and our lower back body, and then we're finding that grounding through our hands and our feet. So thinking about engaging your core here, we're really finding a solidness and a levity in our upper body. We're going to begin by dropping our stomach towards the earth, looking forward, opening our heart space forward. Inhale, and then exhale as our tailbone tucks down, top of the head comes towards the earth, moving through our cat and our cow to really loosen up and awaken the energy in our spine. So you can sort of wiggle it back and forth as you move between these two. Don't choose to end in a certain shape, but sort of feel through what your body needs, and whether that's bringing it into the neck or bringing that into the hips or moving it side to side. Just find what your body feels like moving through. These shapes are a guide for you to feel through. Exhale, tucking that tailbone, pushing out of the earth. Inhale to look forward, chest shines forward. And on your next exhale, come back to center, back to neutral in our tabletop position. When you're here, taking your left toes curled underneath out behind you and bringing your right arm, your opposite leg, opposite arm forward. Then the heel will lift towards the sky. We'll come into our balancing table. And then from here, bringing your knee towards your elbow. So it'll crunch in. So we're, again, rounding through the spine, crunching in, and then coming back to our full extension. So inhale here on your full extension and exhale to bring it all in together. We're rooting through the hands that's on the earth, the foot that's on the earth. We're going to do this nice and slow so that we can really notice each of the muscle groups and the muscles that we're engaging and still maintain a focus on our breath. All right, one more on your own. And release back down to the ground. You can come off the wrists for a moment, leaning back onto your heels. Maybe do a little circle each way with the wrist. All right, so we're really waking up our core here. Again, in our last video, we talked about the solar plexus chakra that's right here, and a lot of that ab work sort of fires that up. So the springtime, our choices, our motivation to like do things and act and create gets really fired up. So we're just sort of tapping into that idea, that springtime, with some solar plexus and heart chakra motivated movements. All right, so we've taken a little break and now we'll take it to the other side. So kicking your right foot out, we'll stretch it a little bit, then left hand comes forward, lift off with that right foot, and inhale to look forward, and exhale to bring everything into center. Inhale to extend, and exhale to bring everything into that midline, really crunching in together, rounding through your back, really bringing that heel and that knee up into your core. Once more, extend and exhale to bring it all in together, really squeezing everything into the middle, and release back to our tabletop position. From here, bringing your left hand towards the center of the mat, we'll take your opposite hand, your right hand, to trace along the inside of your arm, bringing your hand towards your chest towards the sky as much as possible, and if you'd like, hand comes up towards the sky, opening your chest up even farther. Inhale, reaching towards the sky, and then exhale to thread the needle through. Head comes towards the earth, and then this arm here has a lot of options for where you can put it. I like to keep it right here to sort of brace myself. You can also bring it up here if that's a better shoulder stretch. You can also bring it back if you want even more like a chest opener. So go slow and notice what feels best for your body today. And remember your breath. All right, back to center. Taking it to the other side, right hand comes towards the middle, left hand traces your arm up to your heart space, heart comes up towards the sky, hand follows. Inhaling to reach towards the sky, pressing through the tops of our feet, and exhale to thread the needle. Finding your variation here, remember to breathe. All right, and release back to the middle. All right, from here in our tabletop position, drop your elbows to where your wrists are on the mat. So we're pressing our forearms into the mat, hands spread wide, butt up in the air, and then walk your knees back a little bit. Chest comes towards the earth. This is Anahata Asana, which is heart to earth pose. So again, here we're really thinking about forehead comes towards the earth. We're really opening up through our heart space, through our heart chakra. Keeping our hands nice and firm and grounded. And maybe your forehead will not come towards the earth. So just take it as far as is safe and is comfortable for your body. Again, find your breath. And release. Coming back forward onto all fours. Taking your hands out a little bit wider, a little bit further forward, curling your toes underneath, and we'll press our hips up and back into our downward facing dog. Now pedal it out here. This is the only downward facing dog we're gonna do today, I think. Now I'm nervous I'm lying to you, but there's not a lot of it. So really, if you can, relish in this movement, really pedaling through your feet, pressing those heels one at a time and then together towards the earth, pressing out of your hands. Again, find your own natural movement to really feel this pose and what it feels like in your body. Find your breath, find your foundation, and then looking forward, we'll slowly step our way towards the front of the mat. You can do it in one big step or in several little steps like this. And then we'll find ourselves in that forward bend again. From here, think about that energy in your abdomen and imagine that lighting up and growing stronger as you roll your way up to mountain pose, Tadasana. Good. Inhale here at the top. Exhale. Hands come together at the heart. Notice the feeling of your fingerprints upon each other. Inhale, and as you exhale, taking your left foot and stepping back towards the back edge of your mat. Toes point towards the front edge of your mat. We're bending our front knee, coming into warrior one. So inhale to sweep the hands up towards the sky. Exhale to ground down through both of your feet and really bring that front hip crease in. Keeping that knee bent and pressing out of your back foot. Think about opening your heart up, your chest space towards the sky. And then exhale to slowly drop your hands down behind your back. Stop one, you can interlace your fingers, bringing your fingertips towards the earth. Chest comes towards the sky. Inhale and exhale. Option to bring your stomach towards your thigh. Knuckles come up towards the sky. Top of the head presses towards the mat. Humble warrior. Or stay where you are in warrior one. Like this. Now on your next inhale, let's all meet at the top of warrior one. And exhale to step that back foot up to meet our front foot. Hands come back down toward the heart. Inhale to sweep them up and overhead. We'll take one moment down here in our forward bend. Inhale. Exhale to let all of that breath and energy out. And then again, find that light in your core. Let it grow and let it bring you up to the top of your mountain. Hands come to the heart. And then stepping back with your right foot into our warrior one. And you don't need to step directly into the perfect pose, obviously. So step back and then find your foundation, find your footing, find your angles, look around, notice where you are in space. And then once you have your foundation, inhale to sweep your hands up and overhead. We're reaching towards the sky. We're letting our whole body feel like it's being lifted. Like there's like a UFO above and it's, magnetizing us, lifting us. I don't know. The first visual that came to mind, so I hope it resonates with you. And then feeling that grounding as well through our feet. So again, it's that balance. The balance of light and dark, the balance of our breath and our movement, the balance of grounding and reaching towards the sky. Inhale and exhale, hands come down behind our back. Option to interlace your fingers, knuckles reaching towards the mat. Inhale and option to bring your tummy towards your thigh, knuckles reaching towards the sky, head comes towards the mat, humble warrior. Taking a couple of breaths here, or remaining strong in your warrior one. And on your next inhale, let's all meet together in warrior one. And exhale to step it up towards the top of the mat. Awesome. So now we've been talking a lot about, or I've been talking a lot about balance. So we're going to do a little bit of balancing. So we'll get our mind in that balancing mindset. So press your feet into the earth. Imagine you can really see the entire outline of your foot pressing into the earth. So really take a moment to, we're not just standing here, we're really noticing our body in space, noticing our feet on the ground, seeing if we can imagine every little corner of our foot, every piece, really have that map of our foot. So bring your balance towards your left foot and then we'll kick our right leg up behind us and grab it with our hand. Nice classic quad stretch. So we're bringing everything to the midline. So we're thinking about squeezing our legs to the midline, squeezing our core to the midline, and dropping our shoulders. Now this is a great place to stay, remembering your breath, remembering that if you fall over, awesome, we all fall over, we just get back up and try it again. I'm right here with you. And if you want to take it a little bit further today, we'll go from here and then bringing your hand again up to your heart space. We'll begin to lean forward with our heart space. Heart space shines forward. We're hinging at the hips. And then we'll begin to kick out through our foot into our hand, providing that resistance against ourselves. And then that hand from your heart reaches forward. Open palm. Inhale to reach forward with your left hand. Exhale to really kick out your foot into your backhand. Find length, find your extension. Remember your breath. And again, all of these balancing poses are great to use the assistance of a chair or a wall or a buddy. And then with control, we'll bring our hand back up, bring ourselves back to center, let go of our foot, and bring ourselves back down to the earth. I always feel proud, right? If you feel proud that you did that, that's great. It's cool stuff to balance, right? Okay, now we'll take it to the other side. So take a moment to shake it off and then bring ourselves back to center. Again, we're creating a map on our mat of our feet. So pressing into our feet. weight comes onto that right foot, left foot kicks up, grabbing it with your left hand. Breathe here, bring your hand to your heart space, and then stay here, or option to begin to hinge at the hips, heart coming forward, kicking into your back hands, keeping your chest open, right hand comes forward and open in front. Remember your breath, find your foundation, find that lift, and find that grounding. Find your balance. With control, fall out of it, or whoa. So we fall out, we come right back into it. No harm, no foul. And with control, we come right back out. Awesome. Sweep your hands up and overhead on an inhale. Exhale, we'll take ourselves into that forward fold. From here, come to all fours. And then swing your legs to one side. Let's meet in a seat. So as we come here, think about finding your alignment once again, finding your foundation. Even though we're not sitting in a balancing pose, still finding our foundation and finding that rootedness is very important. So think about finding your foundation. Bring your attention back to your breath. Find that length between your ears and your shoulders. Imagine yourself growing very tall, being lifted up from the crown of your head and rooting down from your sit bones. Take this moment to really breathe deeply, to really notice the feelings in your body right now after moving through some breathing and some movements. Notice how you feel. Spring is an excellent time to, as the seasons change once again, take stock of what is no longer serving me, what can I do away with to create space for the things that I want to grow. As we sit here, we can imagine our own roots on the ground, really digging deep, growing wide, growing that network into our foundation. And then imagine that the rest of us is reaching up towards the sky, like we're a little sprout coming out of the earth, really wriggling free of the seed, reaching towards the sun, reaching towards the air. Thinking about the things within us and the things outside of us that have begun to thaw and have begun to have a movement. Sometimes it's a little bit more obvious, like seeing little buds on the trees, and sometimes a lot of it is still happening underground and we don't see the evidence of it yet, but we can sense that those changes and that thawing has begun, and that we will see those blooms soon. So maybe even take a moment to think about what things within you feel might be beginning to thaw and beginning to reach roots down and begin to reach towards the sky. Which things are ready to begin to bloom, which things are beginning their growth, and maybe the things, again, that we don't need to hold on to, so we want to make space within ourselves for new, beautiful things to grow. Now bring your hands to your heart space, your heart center. So heart center here, full chest here. Bring your hands to your heart space. And really imagine, again, this little light. I like to think of just like a little glowing orb, and imagine that in your heart space. And imagine that glowing, imagine that growing, imagine that opening up, maybe even blooming into a nice flower. But just notice the way that you can imagine it growing, and see if you can feel that in your body, that light growing and opening. And now bring your hands to your solar plexus, so just above your belly button, and feel your hands pressing against your stomach. Feel that warmth from your fingers. Feel your fleshy stomach underneath your fingers. Really feeling that fill up your hands. Feeling such a sense of gratitude for what this part of our body does for us. So much of our energy is stored here, and so much of our individuality and our choices stored right here. And imagine again this little orb of light. Imagine it growing. Imagine it growing so big that it encompasses all of you sitting here. And maybe that's kind of hard for you to imagine or to visualize. Maybe it seems a little weird. And if that's the case, just continue to sit here and breathe. Not everything will connect to you right now, but maybe in the future. And maybe it can even be a practice of being a little bit silly, or allowing yourself to imagine, allowing yourself to dream. Maybe even sometimes it's allowing ourselves to feel that excitement, a little bit of hope for the future, which can be really hard and scary to have and hold on to. But springtime is a great time to be reminded of all of the little bright, fresh things that can come into being. And we don't have control over all of that, but we do have control over what we choose to bring into our day and our community and each other's lives. And I love to imagine that those things that we bring will be beautiful flowers. So thank you for joining me on the mat today for some mindfulness, for some breathing, for some movement. It is really nice to know that I am sharing this space with you. So thanks for sharing your time with me and sharing your energy with me. All right, bringing your hands together at your heart. Let's take one deep breath together. Inhale and exhale, bowing your head towards your heart. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. Be patient, be mindful, and live lovingly. I'll see you next time.